You're listening to the DreArea Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Rafael Devers traded to the San Francisco Giants. This was a huge deal. Rafael Devers is one of the best hitters in baseball, and Buster Posey was able to get this trade done. I fucking love Buster Posey. He's the man for getting this done. So let's break down this trade real quick, Drew. So Rafael Devers goes to the Giants. The Giants send Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, and Jose Bello in a bag of chips. What do you think about this trade, Drew? Do you think that the Giants fleeced them?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I was very clear about that in my article. If you haven't read the article on Patreon, definitely check it out. Dude, I did not see, first of all, I have to say, I did not see this coming.
No,
and
nobody did.
I feel like I'm pretty in tune with the team. I have a really good relationship with some people that work for the Giants. This was like, they kept this way, way under wraps. Like, it was not, it didn't leak. There was nothing. Nobody knew what was coming. It was a total shock, even to the players. Logan Webb, a lot of the guys in the locker room before the game on Sunday, after the game on Sunday, were totally blindsided by this move. I think it's a great move, and here's why. Kyle Harrison has not shown that he has more than 2 pitches that are effective at the big league level. He needs to find. He's been working on a changeup. It hasn't come to fruition. He basically is up there. He's out there every day with a fastball and a curveball, and it's just not enough. Big league hitters just eat that shit alive. It's like back in the day, Happy Gilmore. It's like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? Like they were eating Kyle Harris. It's fitting to say that because Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out on Netflix this month. But like, honestly, they were eating Kyle Harrison's fastballs alive. The other night in Colorado on Tuesday, how do I know this? I was there. I saw it. He did not look good to me. He didn't look like he was at the point where he's developing at the rate that the Giants need him to. So number one, Kyle Harrison, I'm fine with him being gone. Number 2, Jordan Hicks. It's like, dude, how many chances did we give this guy? He looked great at the beginning of last year. He looked great at the beginning of this year. But then he runs out of gas. He runs out of gas before we're not even close to the All-Star break. And he's already out of gas. He's already on the injured list. He's already having to come back for a rehab start. So, like, for me, like, Jordan Hicks was a Farhan move. We'll talk a lot about those. Buster Posey's like, get this guy out of here. Get him out
he's
of here.
like, he has no commitment to Jordan Hicks. He didn't bring him in.
And he didn't draft Kyle Harrison.
Did.
And he didn't draft Kyle Harrison.
No.
Either. And I know that.
Go ahead.
I know Kyle Harrison came up. I think he was one of the highly regarded left-handed pitchers, one of the best prospects last year. I know a lot of teams were asking for Kyle Harrison last year. This year, it just has not been there for him. So for us to be able to do that, James Tibbs, okay, he was our 13th overall pick last year. Again, a Farhan pick. Buster Posey looked at all of these guys and said,
Buster Posey,
we have a chance to get one of the greatest, most incredible, not only hitters for average in the big leagues today, but also gap-to-gap power at Oracle Park. And guess what? He already showed it last night. He split the gap in right center field for his first
like it was nothing. Like he was cutting through butter. I was like, oh, he made that look easy. And that's the thing, too, is that when you look at Rafael Devers' numbers, I mean, the guy is a perennial all-star. He's a 2-time all-star, 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner. He's a World Series champion as well. The guy's in the running for MVP, but when you look at his overall numbers for this year, the guy is on an absolute tear. Yeah, he started 0 for 16 when they moved him to the DH. Then once he got the hang of it, dude, he was like, good night, Irene. This guy was destroying them. And so when you look at his numbers, he's batting .274, 15 home runs, and 59 RBIs. He got an RBI last night for the Giants. And when they did the MLB StatCast on the amount of doubles that he hit in Fenway Park off the Green Monster, He would actually, those doubles plus the 15 home runs he already has, he would have 26 home runs if he was playing for the San Francisco Giants. That tells you alone that this guy has the strength and the power to hit this ball out not only in right field, but in center field, and left field, because this guy has opposite field power, which I absolutely love about Rafael Devers. I'll tell you right now, I was sitting on the couch, and I got an update from Bleacher Report saying the Giants acquire Rafael Devers. I thought it was fucking. I thought it was blind. I was like, wait. Am I reading this right? Did I misread this? Is it like Rafael Sanders or something? You know, some guy. Oh, he's a good DH. No, this is Rafael Devers. I was like, no way. And the guy's 28 years old. He's in his prime. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better player. And yeah, he's got a big contract, but the Giants have money. They own their own ballpark. Everything they make out of that ballpark is pure profit. If anyone tries to tell you that, oh, this is a big contract, it's going to be a lot of money for the Giants, they're lying. The Giants have money.
The Giants have money. And the reason we know, again, just like I mentioned in the article, the reason why we know is because they went hard after Bryce Harper. They went hard after Shohei Ohtani. And they went like to the point where Aaron Judge was a Giant. Remember Arson Judge is a Giant?
Judge.
Remember John Heyman's famous tweet? Like they were going out, and they freaking signed Carlos Correa to a $200+ million contract. It didn't work out because his physical went down the drain. And then they signed Willy Adames this year to a big contract. Okay, so this team has the money. But just think about this as you watch, as you look at this lineup now. What he does is he basically, and it's kind of ironic because number 25, the man Barry Bonds, was actually at the press conference yesterday in the front row.
Yeah, he was.
He brings a Barry Bonds like presence to this lineup. He's you put him, you know that this guy is going to be in the 3-hole every single night, every day, especially if he DHs, and he may not DH the whole time. But the fact that we have a guy that we can plug into that 3 spot every single night, he can hit left-handed pitching, he can hit right-handed pitching, his splits look great. And like you said, he has opposite field power, which plays really well in our ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable, dude. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this move. I am stoked. Like watching him hit yesterday, it brought me back to the days of Barry Bonds, where nobody's at the concession stands. Nobody's at the concession stands when this guy's hitting. Like he is like must-see TV, and he's got the personality to go with it.
I was absolutely watching last night, just waiting for every at-bat by Rafael Devers. And not only that, though, but I loved seeing Jung-Hoo Lee back in the leadoff spot. Thank fucking God, because that's where he belongs. Seeing him leading off with Adames. And look, Willy Adames, say what you want about him, but he was getting on base last night. He got on base at least 2 or 3 times ahead of Rafael Devers. So he was setting him up for success. Unfortunately, on that first at-bat, he struck out, which that sucked. But he had the big double, and he had the base hit in the 9th inning. So already it shows you that the moment is never too big for him. The guy can flat-out hit, and this is a huge acquisition for the San Francisco Giants. I think Buster Posey absolutely hit it out of the park. And in reality, Buster Posey did exactly what the Lakers did to the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. I mean, people were comparing this trade to the Luka Doncic trade, where they didn't even shop him to other teams. They just worked out a deal with San Francisco, and there is word now coming out of San Francisco that the Red Sox originally wanted Bryce Eldridge as a part of this trade, and the Giants refused to give him up. I'm telling you right now, if Farhan is here, and Farhan somehow makes this trade happen, we give up Bryce Eldridge and everybody else, and one more player on top of that.
We do not have Bryce Eldridge anymore. But to be honest with you, dude, Farhan wouldn't have made this move. All he did was he was a dumpster dive. All he was a dumpster diver. That's all he did was go and get the scraps. No, dude, like they did this trade right. They did it right. Kyle Harrison, he just wasn't, again, he wasn't meeting up to the expectations that we had for him here in San Francisco. Jordan Hicks was not a good fit. He just wasn't. Like, he wasn't a good fit. And the other thing about this is that, like, honestly, Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, he has an extended relationship with Kyle Harrison. He, like, really, I'm telling you, he is definitely into Kyle Harrison. He's into his development. I heard him on the radio this morning. So, he is totally on board. And I think that had something to do with this. And that's why they were able to make this deal happen. Craig Breslow, the GM of the Red Sox, Buster Posey, guys that actually played in the same era, that knew each other, had a conversation. And like you said, they just worked out a deal. Bryce Eldridge was probably the first player that the Red Sox asked about. And the Giants just said, no, he's off the table. We're not trading him. And they can't trade him. And believe me, the other thing about this trade that I love is the Giants aren't done. I don't believe that the Giants are done. I think that there might be an opportunity for them to be able to get another frontline starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think so.
Or to even look at the improving the bullpen, which I know everybody loves Tyler Rogers. I don't. A lot of people are done with Ryan Walker. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm done with him. I'm not thrilled. And then Camilo Duvall's a fucking head case. So I would still be on the lookout for the Giants to be seeking a frontline closer. And I know that sounds like a big move to make, but it's something that they may want to look at.
There's a chance that there could be, like a frontline closer that you were talking about. But for me, I think that, bullpen help would go a long way to bolster that bullpen. That's already one of the best in Major League Baseball. I'd say either a bullpen piece, a starting pitcher. I know we're getting Justin Verlander back today, but I don't know how long he's going to last throughout the rest of the season. When you look at the rotation, you got Logan Webb, you have Robbie Ray, you have Hayden Birdsong. All three of them are pitching really, really well. Landon Roop is also pitching well, although the last time he went out there, he got lit up by the Dodgers. But I think a lot of pitchers can say that they ran into the Dodgers and they just got lit up.
Yeah.
So I would not mind them going after another pitcher. Now, are they going to go after a frontline number one starter, number two starter pitcher? Probably not, but I think that they can get a pitcher that can fill in that number three spot to help take a little pressure off of a Hayden Birdsong. And then maybe your starting four, if you make the postseason, would be Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Hayden Birdsong, and the pitcher that you acquire. But for now, at least, we know that there's still options in the minor leagues. You got Carson Wisenhunt that's still down there. Obviously, we have Landon Roop. You have Tristan Beck. You have a lot of guys. You have Wynn, who's down there as well. Still a lot of help in the minor leagues when it comes to the starting pitching. And then when you look at offensively, I mean, your biggest holes right now have to be second base, first base. I mean, Dom Smith, dude, the guy's playing phenomenal, but is he going to keep that up all year? Probably not. And he's not a power hitter, but he's batting 374 or 325, something like that. I have to look it up. But he's batting over 300. And so you're getting production out of him that the Yankees weren't getting and that you weren't even sure you were going to get, but now we are. So, hey, I'll take it. But I think that a first baseman is something that they should really be looking for, because if you can acquire a top-flight first baseman, that would change everything. If you got a guy, which you're not going to get, but if you got a guy like Pete Alonso, that would be phenomenal. But like you were saying, Rafael Devers does change a lot for this lineup. It's funny because when you look at who did Rafael Devers replace in Boston? That's the funniest. That's the funniest bit of information.
Pablo Sandoval. No?
He replaced the panda, Pablo Sandoval. I think that's him chasing him right there.
Remember when he was so fat with Boston in spring training that his belt busted?
He broke his belt. Oh, and his belly was hanging out. Poor guy. The worst thing he could have ever done was go to Boston. He should have just stayed in San Francisco. But
we could do a whole show. We could do a whole show on that, because I think the reason why Pablo left the main reason why from my sources was that the Giants asked him to go on a diet basically and to really trim down. And they had done that in 2010 and he did it for a short period of time.
He couldn't hold it up though.
But he couldn't hold it up because remember he was ousted as the third baseman in the World Series in 2010.
Yeah.
And then
he was so fat too.
He was so fat. And then he got down on his weight and then he came back up again. So he went to Boston because the Giants were putting pressure on him, but that's another story that we could talk about.
So let's take a look at the impact that it has on the roster, or let's say the starting lineup. So here's the potential lineup they could go with. You're looking at Jung-Hoo Lee, Willie Adames, Rafael Devers, Matt Chapman, Elliot Ramos, Wilmer Flores, Yastrzemski, Bailey, who's supposed to come back today, I heard, and Tyler Fitzgerald. To me, Fitzgerald is probably your weakest link because the guy just can't hit. I think Casey Schmidt, he's not hitting. I think Casey Schmidt should end up taking over that second base spot because I think Schmidt he's got a better bat. But last night, man, he made a huge mistake last night. But we're going to talk about that when we break down last night's game and get you ready for tonight's game, which is game 2 against the Cleveland Guardians.
Commander.
It might as well be, You
got football in your brain, bro.
I do. Yeah. But I mean, look at this lineup. I mean, 1 through 5. I mean, that's deadly. And what's crazy is that when you look at Elliot Ramos' numbers, they are not that far off from Vlad Guerrero Jr. Almost the same batting average, same amount of home runs, same amount of RBIs. Like, that's how good Elliot Ramos is. And this is another guy, dude. I'm telling you, Elliot Ramos is another guy, especially because he came through last season. He's another guy that the Giants kind of stumbled upon. They knew he had potential. They knew he had power. But then he came up here because of injury, and they were like, wow, he's playing really good, man. Maybe we ought to keep him in the lineup more often. And the Giants always tend to do that in previous eras. Same thing with Joe Panic. They tried everybody before they said, okay, let's just go with Joe Panic. They even signed Dan Ugla that year, and Joe Panic led them to the World Series, and they won. But they tried to bring back Scudero. They tried to go with Dan Ugla. They tried to go with everybody else before they said, okay, I guess we'll just go with Joe Panic, and then he helped them win a World Series. Like, oh, we love this guy. We love him. It's like they always tend to do this. But
that was the previous regime.
It was
the previous regime. It was. And even going back to the Sabian regime, which was during that time, they would tend to always kind of lean towards the veterans. Now, what I would say, just to
even Bobby Evans.
Bobby Evans. Just to kind of piggyback off of what you're talking about here, I think the player that is going to benefit the most from Rafi Devers is Elliot Ramos. I do.
Yes,
I really believe
absolutely.
that. And you saw it last night. Ramos now doesn't have to be in that 3-hole. He's not quite ready for that yet at this point of his career, and he may never be. But now he gets to relax a little bit. He's going to get better pitches to hit. He's going to have more runners on base. He's going to have more opportunities to drive in runs, which is all you can ask for as a power hitter. And the one thing that you mentioned that is so crucial to this whole thing is the value that the Giants are getting in Rafi Devers. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but last night I saw a graphic. It was Juan Soto, Vlad Guerrero Jr., and Rafi Devers.
Absolutely. I was trying to find that earlier.
Yeah, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Juan Soto are both making more money. They're under
more money,
longer contracts. Although Guerrero and Devers are very close, but Juan Soto is 13 years. I believe it's 13 years. I could be wrong, but I know it's close to that. And they're both not producing as much as Rafi Devers right now. Juan Soto has like 13 homers and 33 RBIs. Vlad Guerrero is just about the same as Rafael Devers right now. So if there are any Giants fans out there that are complaining about this deal because of the money part of it, because of the fact that we still have 8 years and $250 million left on the contract, that is a bargain, Giants fans. That is a bargain. If
Absolutely.
you were going to go on the open market to get this guy in today's baseball.
And I'm trying to find that graphics. I actually had it up on a tweet, and for some reason I didn't save it, and I'm really pissed about that. But it goes to show you.
You're still learning.
Oh, get out of here. No, but it goes to show you that, people who are complaining about this trade, it's like, dude, when you look at the contract and how much it costs the Giants at current day, this is actually a bargain compared to what Soto was getting, compared to what Vlad Guerrero Jr. is getting. We're getting this guy an absolute bargain. And look, this is a guy that the Giants probably could not sign. If he was a free agent, they'd have a hard time bringing this guy in. Now they do it via trade. They did it. They were able to bring in Willy Adames. Now they have Rafael Devers. If these two start to come alive, which I know Devers already is, but if Willy Adames continues to come alive and they put together some big years, you're going to get more players that are going to want to come here because they're seeing what these guys are doing. And we haven't had a hitter like this since Barry Bonds. I mean, this amazing. Is an absolute power hitter. He's a power hitter, but he has that kind of swagger that
got a
crazy
presence up there, dude.
But crazy enough, he has that swagger that reminds me of Pablo Sandoval, where he just doesn't give a shit. He's too dumb to be freaked out. He's just like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna smash this ball. Whack! It's just like, holy shit.
And what I love about him, dude, is he swings. He always goes for it. Like last night, he struck out a couple times, or it may have been once, but he was like swinging. He was really swinging for the.
He almost hit, if he would have connected with that strikeout, that would have been gone.
I mean, he has and the way that he's so balanced up at the plate, the way that his batting stance, it's so wide that he can cover the inside pitch. He can take the inside pitch to the opposite field. He can pull the inside pitch down the line. And he makes his contact is electric. Like last night, his double to right center field was 111 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah, he absolutely ripped it.
He just fucking nuts the ball. Like he centers the ball on the sweet spot constantly. And he is, as Clayton Kershaw said the other day during Sunday Night Baseball, he's like a top 3 hitter in the major leagues.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's literally one of the top 3 hitters in this league. So the Giants now, what they have is the leeway. They have the leeway now for guys. Other guys may struggle, like Adames. I mean, he's coming out of it, but he may go back into a tailspin. And Ramos may go back into a tailspin. But we have now a guy, again, a cornerstone guy that is going to help us when we go through those stretches when we're looking at 2 runs a game. Ironically, how many runs did we score in his first game? 2. But you know what? The reason why that happened was because we were 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah. But they were in the game. They were in the game in the 9th inning. They had a chance to win that game. Yes. And they don't do that without him because he got that base hit in the 9th inning that kept them in the game. Let me the one thing that I want to show you, and we talked about this, off screen. We talked about some of his splits. So when you look at his splits from this year, they are absolutely phenomenal. Oh, shit. Absolutely phenomenal. In the month of May, okay, he had 104 at-bats. He had 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, 22 walks. He batted .356 in the month of May. That is incredible. In the month of April, he batted in 101 at-bats. He scored 22 runs. He had 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, 20 walks. He batted .267. So you can see from one month to the next, he got better. And now he's in, obviously, the month of June in San Francisco. He's going to have to adapt to National League pitching, which I think he'll be fine doing that. But so far this month, he's batting .226 in only 53 at-bats. Those numbers should go up with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs and 10 walks. And look, when you look at the reasons why this trade happened, I mean, one of the craziest things, to come out of this trade was the news that, like I said earlier, the Red Sox did not shop Rafael Devers around the league before trading him. Greg Breslow literally just talked to Buster Posey. What is Greg Breslow? He's a former major league player.
Yeah, pitcher.
A pitcher. Buster Posey, a former major league player, a catcher.
Yeah.
it goes to show you that having a guy like Buster Posey, a guy that he probably trusts in the sense that, like, hey, you're a major league player, you know how the way the game is played, and you know, Buster has a very wholesome sort of like, hey, I'm not trying to screw you over on this, man. I just want to get this done. And I think it allowed him to work this trade for the number of weeks that it did. You know, Buster talked about how this trade it gained momentum, then it would die. Gain momentum, then it would die. And probably a lot of those talks centered around Bryce Eldridge. And I'm sure he pivoted off of Eldridge with Tibbs and probably adding Kyle Harrison. Because I would imagine Hicks was part of the trade talks immediately. He's like, dude, I got to get rid of this guy. I don't know why Farhan brought this guy in and promised him to be a starter. Like, what the fuck? He was not a starter.
It's like the worst move in the history of the Giants. Like
Jordan Hicks is a guy like Jordan Hicks is a flashy sports car that can go to 0 to 100 in like 3.2 seconds. Like, this car is so badass, but it runs out of gas in like 20 minutes. So you're just like, well, I can't really go anywhere with this. I can get going pretty quick, but I can't get very far. And that's what he was. He couldn't even get out of the fifth, sixth inning. I mean, rarely did we ever see him get to the seventh. And if he did, he couldn't get out of it. He'd have to be taken out of the game in the seventh because he runs out of gas. So, and on top of that, the Red Sox, they designated or I shouldn't say DFA'd, they optioned Kyle Harrison to AAA. So you made this trade and then moved Kyle Harrison to AAA immediately. So all the Red Sox fans are fucking pissed. They're flipping out. They want Breslow's head. I saw so many memes of people like, you know, shooting targets and everything. I'm like, oh my God. They're livid right now in Boston.
They loved Rafael Devers. They loved him. Like he had a special relationship with those fans, almost as special as the relationship that the Panda had here in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and like I think you made a great analogy to the style of play, to the guy always has a smile on his face. Rafael
He
Devers.
does. He does.
But I also want to take it back to what you were saying about Buster Posey. Buster Posey has already done something that Farhan Zaidi could never do. And that is use his, like you said, his experience, his knowledge of the game, his experience as a player, which is something that I think a lot of fans and the media, they may not even realize how important that is, that he played this game and that he was a catcher. And I think it bodes really well for managers. Also, we've seen that. Bob Melvin, there he is. Look at that beautiful man, Buster Posey. Man, he's a god. He is so good. I was listening to him. I was listening to him last night with Kruk and Kipe. He came up in the second inning, and he is as cool as a cucumber, man. And he was able to do something again that no GM has been able to do since Brian Sabian brought in Jeff Kent in 1997. To make this kind of a move, not even mid-season, and bring in a guy of this caliber that is not only going to change this season, but is really going to change the trajectory of this franchise for years to come. Because one thing that Buster Posey understands and realizes is that the fans here deserve better than what we've seen for the last 6 years.
Yeah,
what we have seen for the last 6 years is absolute trash. What Farhan did, and I get pissed about this because I hated Gabe Kapler. Gabe Kapler, to me, was an absolute piece of crap. He didn't communicate well with his players. He didn't have the right mindset for this organization, for this market. He wouldn't listen to the people around him, to his coaches. He would just get rid of people when they didn't listen to him. I heard numerous stories about his stubbornness and his lack of a relationships that he had with his players. The players hated him. They could not stand him. And the 1 year that the Giants won, yeah, it all came together. It was one of those years, okay? It happens. But also, you have to understand that was right after COVID, and baseball was kind of coming back, and there was a transition period after that. And the Giants got lucky, man. They won a lot of games that they shouldn't have won that year. And it was an aberration. But other than that, it's been utter crap for the last 6 or 7 years. So what Buster Posey is doing in his first year is incredible. And I am so happy to be a Giants fan right now after this move. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think so. And it's funny because when you look at the other side, there's this ongoing rumor now that Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to get traded, that the Red Sox are going to trade for Robert Acuna Jr. And it's kind of like, why would they trade their best player? Do you think that their GM is Greg Breslow? Oh, you know what it is? You must think their GM is Nico Harrison. That's why you think this would happen. Because he'd do that trade in a heartbeat. He'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I think he's too fat.
Guy, he looks like an idiot, dude.
He is an idiot.
I don't know, man. But the thing about Nico Harris is that he was also an agent, like Bob Myers. So he was Kobe Bryant's representative at Nike. He represented Kobe Bryant. But still, Kobe Bryant. You don't trade Luka Doncic for whatever the fuck they got. Just like you don't trade Rafael Devers for whatever the fuck they got from San Francisco. Look, I'm a Giants fan. And I even thought, wow, what a bunch of idiots. Now, look, we know that this relationship had gone sour. It all started in the offseason when they brought in, what's his name? Alex Bregman. The fucking cheater out of fucking Houston. Fuck that guy. Horrible move.
That guy's a piece of shit. He was a part of that whole cheating fiasco with the fucking trash cans.
Him and Carlos Correa and George, what's his name?
He was in cahoots with that. So that just shows you his integrity.
I have no time for those guys.
But anyway, they traded for him as a good defensive third baseman. And I'm sorry, but it's the communication in their planning that forces to happen. Because, look, if you're going to go get Alex Bregman, then you bring in Rafael Devers, and you go, Rafi, we love you. I don't want to lose you, but I want to bring in a defensive third baseman and utilize you as a DH because I love your bat and I want you in this lineup. But I am not going to do this without your blessing. If I get your blessing, then I will do this because I don't want to lose you because that's how important you are. Instead, they went out and got Alex Bregman. Devers was like, what the fuck? I'm the third baseman. I guess I'm not anymore, even though I just signed this massive fucking deal. And then they said, you're going to be a DH. Okay, fine. I'll be a DH. Fine, whatever. Starts out 0 for 16. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, he's washed. And then he comes back and starts tearing up the world with his bat. And then there's an injury at first base, and they go, oh, Rafi, can you play first base? And he's like, I haven't even been playing the fucking field. Now you want me to fucking play first base? No, I'm not going to do that. And at that point, he was like, you know what? Fuck these guys. They got rid of Mookie Betts. They got rid of Chris Sale. They had a championship team, a World Series championship team that they let just fucking disintegrate. And they went into like a rebuilding mode. They went into a rebuilding mode with him as their centerpiece. But I bet you anything, he would have rather said, look, I love the contract I got, but I would rather have Mookie Betts and Chris Sale on this team right now, which they should have been. Absolutely. And why the fuck they traded Mookie Betts to the fucking Dodgers, you assholes?
And this is Boston, Dre. Like, this is not a small market.
No.
So for them to do this twice, for them to give up Mookie Betts for a bunch of crap coming back from the Dodgers, honestly, I don't even remember who they got back in that trade.
I don't remember either.
It was horrible. It was like Kike Hernandez and like some, I don't know. It was shit. And it was really bad.
To think that Boston could have just a legendary team on their hands, instead they decided to rebuild and not pay anybody when they're a team that makes that fucking Prince money. And not only that, but people got to remember this too. Before they won the World Series back in, what year was that when they finally broke the curse?
2004. In
2004, the Boston Red Sox were notorious for being a shit franchise that would always blow it, that would always make blunders like they were doing right now. And so they're really going back to their roots with this. And so that's why it's kind of like, hey, man, look. And so now the fans are trying to pivot. They're trying to say, oh, look, we got out of Rafi Devers' contract. Now we can go get somebody else. Now we can go get Ronald Acuna Jr. No, you're not. You're not. You're not getting him because the Braves aren't dumb. You think the Braves would trade him? No.
And even if you got him, he's coming off all these injuries. I mean, I just think that they made again, like Nico Harris did. It was an impulse decision, and it was I think it was Buster Posey like sweet talking Craig Breslow, and like I don't know what he did, put something in his drink or something, but like I don't know what he did, man. But like for us to be able to get this guy, it's just honestly, it's a blessing for our franchise, and it completely shifts the mindset for the San Francisco Giants. Because now, if you ask anybody, if you ask Sergio Romo, if you ask Javi Lopez, any of the guys that are broadcasting with the Giants now, Hunter Pence, and anybody in the front office, the expectation for the Giants is to make the playoffs now. They have to make the playoffs now.
They have to.
And that is something that I like to hear as a fan. I never, ever want to be a part of a baseball team that is just going through the motions. Yeah, we'll be happy if we're about 500. You know, we're building. I think we're a couple years away. Like I don't got a couple years, dude. Like man, my blood pressure's high. I could pass out and die right now. I want to enjoy this.
There's the link for the Patreon if you want to join us and join me and Drew over on the Patreon, where you post articles, we post videos, clips, updates on the Niners and the Giants. Definitely check out and become a member of the Patreon. And I might even do a Niners off-season special where it's like $1. But you can also join for free as well and get access to the free content. And if you want to move up to the next level, then you get access to the more pricier content, which is more premium.
$5 a month. $5 a month.
$5. You can even get it for $3. I'll tell you that.
I'm a fan. Okay.
So here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break and get a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of things. One, we're going to get you ready for Giants baseball, which is coming up at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to talk about last night's game against the Guardians, not the Commanders, but the Guardians. And I want to talk about the good things that Farhan did for the Giants. We know like all the bad things.
You sound like Marty Lurie.
You know,
a mosaic.
It's Sundays at the park. Saturday. Anyway, guys, we'll be right back. You're listening to the DreArea Sports Show with Drew and Dre.
The DreArea Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO Optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO Optimizer. Use promo code DreArea Sports to start your free trial today. PowerBrandSystems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at PowerBrandSystems.